Hi, my name's Lindy. Welcome to the channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. My email is info@lindycowling.co.uk. I'm expecting to record one after the other 3 short videos. Now, once again, I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, not the videos I had expected to record, and there's still one mulling about that I had expected to record, but I haven't totally integrated it yet. So before I can share that, I'm having to integrate it first. So I'm going to kind of sit on that one, so to speak, till it's time to come out with it. Could be days, could be a few weeks, I don't know. Depends how long I assimilate that and integrate it. So I'm going to work slightly differently on this video, and perhaps even the next one, I'm not sure yet. Usually I work very intuitively, which means I'm sharing directly from the heart. Yes, you could say it's a form of channeling, being obviously intuitive as well, but I have actually written a few things down, which is unusual for me. Sometimes I do that on this channel, sometimes I do that on camera, and I have written some things down. A couple of days ago I had this big impetus, and then I was getting kind of loads of impetus to be writing down and to be sharing then. So what I'm probably going to do is read a little bit of what I've written down, and then it'll be a mixture of that and kind of like directly talking to camera as well. So the title of this first video is What the Feminine Really Wants. What the feminine really wants. So I think the best way to start this short video is really to start to read what I was writing down from the heart a couple of days ago, and we'll go from there. So excuse me if I'm kind of flicking a glance down a little bit from the camera, because I have what I've written in front of me. So what I mean by what the feminine really wants, I'm talking in terms of what they really want from a connection with somebody, from a connection with somebody on a spirit essence level, on a soul level, on a consciousness level, on the level of partnerships, sacred connections, on the level of linear relationships, on a relationship level, right across the spectrum. So right across the spectrum here. And before I launch in, the reason I'm coming from this perspective is A, I am feminine, B, I have nearly 20 years working with thousands of people and thousands of women in therapeutic sessions, healing sessions, working on the kind of mind therapy side of it, but also the energy side of it, the soul therapy side of it, the psychic side of it. So I've had nearly 20 years experience working in those domains and working with feminine energy as well as masculine. So it's from that perspective, because it's an experiential channel, it means that I share from my direct experience of my own personal experience and my own personal take on things, but also through working with thousands of people professionally over a 20-year period. And this is an evolving consciousness channel, if you like. So as I have more input and awareness, I am sharing that. And of course the channel is changing accordingly, because of course we're all changing and fluctuating and expanding accordingly. So what the feminine really wants, and the bottom line to what the feminine really wants. I'm going to read a bit of this, so excuse me if I'm looking away a bit. What the feminine really wants and longs for, actually, is to be seen and to be heard. So what do I mean by being seen and heard? I don't mean in the linear sense of being actually visually seen, oh hey, you know, here I am, or heard as in the volume of your voice or what you're saying, but actually really truly seen on an essence form, on a spirit form, in a soul form. They want to be seen in their entirety on the spectrum. So they want to be seen on, let's start from the top, they want to be seen in their true expression of feminine consciousness form, right at the top end of the spectrum. So some people might say, are you talking about they want to be seen angelically? The feminine wants to be seen in a kind of goddess-like energy. Along those lines, but the reason I'm not jumping into those categories is this channel is all about purity, that pure heart consciousness, without getting caught up in big archetypal programming or big archetypal energies along the way. But at its truest, multi-dimensional, purest form, the feminine wants to be seen as her true embodiment of aspects such as those angelic and goddess-like aspects, but not in its lower, distorted form. So the feminine energy on the planet wants to be seen for their true power, but in the purest sense of the word power, in the most compassionate, loving sense of the word power, but that inner strength, that inner compassion, that inner love exuding through them. So at the top level, they want to be seen and felt from that loving, kind of wise, compassionate space. And if we filter that down, they really want to be seen on every level, on a soul level, as we bring it down into the soul form. When I say in a soul form, they want to be seen and felt in their embodiment as a soul. So in the roles that they are in life, they might be mothers, they might be grandmothers, sisters, you know, friends. They want to be seen in the true form, and that they are part of their life experiences and part of the roles they play. And if we bring it down lower, they want to be, as we bring it into the relationship level, that includes the linear relationship, not just on the higher levels. They want to be seen and heard and to have a voice that is valued, that is considered to be equal, balance, let's say to the masculine energy on the planet, that has that kind of respect with that value. They wish to have that in the relationships that they live. That's all relationships, not just romantic relationships, but across the board in all forms of relationships, so that they are, let's say, respected and valued, coming from that very honest, authentic, in some ways vulnerable space, but in the highest senses of the word vulnerable, that genuine authenticity again. And to have that met and recognised by masculine form of energy, not just within them, but the expression of a masculine form of energy on the outside of them. So to summarize, the feminine energy on the planet, and this is my take on it, not just through channeling from the heart, but from nearly 20 years experience working on all sides of the fence, like I say, therapy, healer, hypnotherapy, psychically, on soul levels, channeling, thousands of people over nearly a 20-year period. The feminine energy, the female, but the feminine expression of energy within. So masculine energy also has feminine energy. Men have feminine energy in them too. So the feminine energy per se, not just women, the feminine energy per se wants to be heard, recognized on all levels, let's say felt on all levels, valued, and having that respect and equal recognition and balance and status would be an equal word that comes to mind as the masculine energy on the planet. Coming from the feminine energy principle, it's not a codependent need, so not the codependency programming, not the codependency archetypal stuff, not codependency. That's the, let's say that's a different form of expression. Let's say that's a programmed, in that sense, lower form of expression. The feminine energy in its highest form is not coming from the codependency program, but in its higher form, it's all about the connection. So it's the recognition, the acceptance, and the being seen within oneself to oneself. So the acceptance of oneself within oneself, of oneself, and the connection to oneself, but also expressed outwardly with and through or alongside another that is also able to have a sense of completion with themselves, to see themselves within themselves and to recognize that in another. Or in the feminine, in its lowest form, codependence is its programmable archetypal form. In its highest form, it's connection. It's the reminder of a state of balance, a state of completion, a state of home. And in its outer form, merging with one's own inner home. So you'll have to excuse if you can hear the background noise out there. That's masculine energy next door making a lot of noise. It's kind of a beautiful parallel to this while I'm trying to explain this, that the masculine energy is literally trying to drown me out. There's a great representation on this video. So in its lowest form, I'm not talking about codependency. I'm talking about the higher form of connection, a reminder of home in its outer form and its inward form. So merging with one's own inner landscape, one's own inner universe, inner cosmos, inner home. The feminine energy really wants to experience the miracle of seeing and knowing oneself, yet also seeing and knowing oneself through the eyes of another or the other or all others. It is not a need for completion or a need to be fixed. Again, that's linking into the old codependency programs. It's not that. it's the living and the recognition as the right, I guess, to live as a unique expression of consciousness within the world, expressing in the world, experiencing in the world, and experiencing with others. On a very linear, basic level, in my earlier years of life and in my earlier years working in therapy and working in the multiple ways that I work, I used to see this all of the time. The need of feminine energy to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, and also the genuine need of that, but also like a fantasy over the top of that. And that fantasy being, there is actually some actual programming over the genuine purity of that part of coming into that masculine and feminine balance. There is also something over the top of that, like a fairy tale programming of that the feminine energy has, of wishing to be totally recognized and totally almost like in a fairy tale, like a fairy book, totally recognized and understood by someone, masculine energy, in the form of, I'm going to say in the form of a power position. Now this goes against everything that I've just said, but what I'm trying to explain here is there's like a fantasy overlay energy there in consciousness, a fairy tale one, where playing along the same lines, but it's an inversion, a distorted version of it, there is a feminine need to be again along the same lines, recognized and understood across the board, this is talking very basically, by masculine energy. Now we could say, if we were going a little bit Freudian or something, we could say that's a throwback to the feminine energies father and father energies of a power position of being seen, recognized, valued, totally understood, totally accepted on every level. And, you know, if we want to get very complicated, we could throw it back to there. But there is like a fairy tale thing here. Now, I see it all over the world. And as a feminine energy, of course, I went through that as well for many years and didn't realise it was there, or I was tapping into that, or it was part of my psychological ego consciousness makeup at the time, you know, years ago. So it's a very interesting thing. So I hope I haven't kind of wandered off track too much here, but just to summarise what feminine energy really wants on the purest level, but also through all the variations on a theme and the distorted levels and the inverted levels and the linear levels and the non-linear levels and the multidimensional levels and the non-multidimensional levels and the human levels and the divine human levels and the non-ascended levels and the ascended levels and the heart levels and the stomach levels and the soul levels and the spiritual levels, and all levels is basically to be seen, heard, felt, valued, not honoured in the sense of worshipping, but let's say respected in their most, let's say, wise, compassionate, purest sense of the word on all levels. Really, what the feminine energy wants is that level playing field right across the spectrum. And on that note, I will love you and leave you. I'm expecting to just go straight on and do another 1 or 2 videos. Not sure on the third one yet. That's another thing I think I have to assimilate and integrate a little bit longer. That might be out later this week or in a week's time, but I'm expecting to go straight on and do 1 more. Let's see how it goes. On that note, again, I'll love you and leave you. As always, thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for supporting me as the channel. For those of you that are inspired to make donations, I truly appreciate it, and that's from my heart to yours. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for not only subscribing to this channel, but supporting me as that channel in all the ways that you do. Take care. I'll probably be back on camera again shortly. Bye.